Hey y'all, welcome back to Cheryl Kate's Cooking Diaries. And tonight I wanted to come on and show you how to make my cinnamon roll cake. And it is pretty simple to make. I know it's going to seem like a lot, but it's really not. And it's a great cake for this time of the year. So I'm going to show you everything that goes into this. Okay. The first thing is you're going to need a big enough baking dish, and I think this is about a 13 by 9, because you're going to need something that's got some side to it, deep enough to hold this. So you're going to need to spray it down with some cooking spray, and to make sure it is greased well, and I have already done that. I don't know if it's ready to go, and you're going to need your oven on 350 degrees. First thing you're going to need is you're going to need 3 cups of self-rising flour. Now, if you want to use the all-purpose, you can do that. Just remember to add your salt and your, baking powder and all to that. I don't use all-purpose much. I use the self-rising flour, but if it calls for it, I will. But you can use all-purpose in this if you want to. So here's 1 cup, and my flour is pre-sifted, so that's helpful. But if it's not like it's going to make any difference or anything really. But I like my pre-sifted flour. There's 2. Okay. Now, and here's 3. So we've got our 3 cups of self-rising flour. Now, if you're going to use a stick of butter or any butter, this is going to call for a 1/3 cup. So what you're going to need to do is melt it in the microwave. But you don't put it in your cake mix hot like that. You need to let it cool down. All right. So now we're going to use 3/4 cups of sugar. Just regular granulated sugar. 3/4. So here we go. I'm going to measure this out in the bag. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Alrighty. So we've got our sugar. I like to take a whisk, and I like to whisk in my sugar with my self-rising flour. I like to whisk that in first and get it incorporated. And this cake there's 3 different steps. You're going to make our cake, and then we're going to make our topping, and then we're going to make our glaze. 1.5 cups of milk. Alright, put that in there. And 1/2 cup. So 1.5 cups of milk is what you're going to need. There's 1/2. For your milk, you will need 2 eggs. So, 1, 2. Now, what goes in next is 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Now, I think there's 2 of those. Then after the vanilla, we are going to add 1/3 cup of butter. Now, this is the butter I was telling you that you want to melt, but make sure it's not hot when you put it in here. So whisk that in a little bit. If you've had it sitting for a minute, you need to whisk it in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just pour this into our mixture we've got started. Now we're going to start stirring all of this together. So now I'm going to kind of gouge my eggs a little bit to kind of break them up. Makes it a little bit easier. So just start mixing all this in together. Okay, so make sure you get all of that flour off the sides and off the bottom of your bowl. You want to be sure that there's no little pockets of flour that's gotten caught on the bottom. Add just a splash of milk because sometimes it gets kind of thick. Now that's just what I do. I mean, you can leave it the way it is if you want, but I like to add me a little extra milk in my batter just to help to thin it out just a little bit because it could use some thinning. It's a little bit too thick. Looks like we've got it all incorporated. So our cake mix that we made up here, okay, we're going to pour this into our cake pan. But our greased cake pan here is you want to go ahead and level it out, level your cake out. Make sure you get it all around in your cake pan. There's our little bowl. Now what I'm going to do with my cake right now is I'm going to set it to the side until we need it. We're going to make the topping to this cake. And first we're going to need a 1/4 cup of butter. This butter needs to be melted. This time we're going to need a 1/4 cup. All right. And this is for the topping, okay? Melt your butter, but it doesn't need to be hot, okay? And then add 1/2 cup of brown sugar, okay? With a butter knife. Works every time, or the back of a knife. I'll put it that way. So I've got it in there. That worked great. Now I'm going to need 2 tablespoons of flour, and it's self-rising. Now, a tablespoon of cinnamon. Now, I'd like to tap it a little bit on my counter. Then I'm going to level it off into the bottle without making a big mess. Add into your butter, okay? And then, after that, you are going to take your 2 tablespoons of flour, self-rising, and you're going to add that to there. And then after that, you're going to take your 1 tablespoon of cinnamon that we just got out. You're going to throw it in there with your butter and all. 2, whisk all this together. You may have to knock it out of your whisk a time or two. But scrape a little bit off the sides every now and again until you get it together. It's going to go on top of our cake. But when we put this on top of our cake, we're going to drop it in spoonfuls all over our cake. Okay? Get back over here. Our topping that we just made. And we're going to just start dumping it all over our cake. All you have to do, and just start putting it, drop spoonfuls of it on top of your batter. Okay? So we're going to do one here. And you're just going to, all you're going to do is just start swirling this in to your cake. So I just start kind of here where there's some at, and then I just kind of go up and down with it until I feel like I'm getting it all swirled in. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. And we're going to put this in the oven. And we're going to bake this for 30 to 35 minutes. And then when it comes out, all we got to do is put our, just put our glaze on top of it. I'm going to let mine cool for a little bit because I don't want to put my glaze on there when it's really hot. Because when you do that, it just all kind of seeps down into the cake. And there's no point in it. This is what mine looks like, and this is just how I do mine. Now, you can do yours however you want to do yours. But that's just to put it in, and I will be back here shortly. Alright, guys, listen. It's done, and it looks super good. It's hot, so I've got it sitting on my cooling rack, but I'll show you real quick. Wait just a minute. All right. Like I said, it is done. And it took it maybe 32 minutes, something like that. You just have to watch it depending on your oven, because everybody's ovens are a little different. Doesn't that cinnamon, the topping that we used, doesn't that look good on there? Making the glaze. So, now this takes 1 cup of powdered sugar. Dish it out into the cup to see. I don't know exactly how much this is, so it wasn't a measured amount. This was my apple cake. I used some of this for my apple cake. Alright, I think we're gonna need more. Okay. Kind of hoping that would do it, but no, we're gonna need more. Tablespoons of milk. You'll just have to judge this. You'll need at least 2. I'm gonna go ahead and dump my powdered sugar in my bowl. Add my 2 tablespoons of milk. We're going to start out with 2. Alright, there's 1. There's 2. Vanilla. Whisk, you can use fork. Now, all you're going to do is just start whisking this in together. And if it looks like it's going to be too thick, then all you're going to do is just add you another tablespoon of milk. Now, I think I might add me a little more milk. I don't know. I can't really say that I'm going to add a whole tablespoon because I don't think it's going to need it. But let's try. I'm going to try it. Well, I've got almost a tablespoon. But let's go with a little bit at a time, and we'll whisk it in. But my bowl's going to move on me. We're going to whisk that in. I'm spilling it all over my counter. I'm thinking that's going to do it. It looks good to me, and I'm afraid if we put any more in there, it's going to be too thin, and I don't want the glaze to be that thin because I want to be able to spread it around on my cake. Really not that thin, but that's what you want right there. This cake has cooled enough to put the glaze on, so pour this on top of it over. I try to do this as slow as I can. It's cinnamon roll cake with autumn sprinkles. Please like and share my video. On my Facebook page, the Cheryl Case Cooking Diaries, if you don't mind to share that, I'd greatly appreciate it. And listen, to go to my YouTube channel and like and subscribe there, I would greatly appreciate it. So, we've made our cinnamon roll cake and it looks very good. So listen, you all please stay safe out there and always remember to keep God in your heart and God in your life. Bye.